Welcome to Tantra Vidya, the first institute of impeccable wisdom, the walking, talking encyclopedia. Sushumna Nadi, a channel of spiritual evolution. My mission, the impeccable wisdom, knowing which everything is fully known. My greatest discovery, Divyank, the divine design of nature with which the perfect objects are designed and created. Divyank is the reward of 60 years of integrated education. Impeccable wisdom is enlightening, and integrated knowledge is empowering. The major nadis of the human body, the subtle channels through which Kundalini flows from Mooladhara to Sahasrara chakra, and through different chakras to make the physical health possible. There are 72,000 nadis in the human body, and there are two routes, external route as well as the internal route. The external route are Bharang Yoga. The major nadis are Ida, Pingla and Sushumna. Other names have been given. You can read it leisurely. To the best of my knowledge, they don't make much of a difference. As long as Ida, Pingla and Sushumna nadis are known from the external world, our external route is enough. But according to Tantra Vidya, the internal route, internal nadis for Antar Yoga of Akhand Yoga is absolutely essential to be in tune with universal consciousness. And what are those nadis? Within the Sushumna Nadi, you have Vahani Nadi. Then within Vahani Nadi is Surya Nadi. Within Surya Nadi is Chandra Nadi. And within Chandra Nadi is Brahma Nadi, in which finally Kundalini should reside or ascend from Mooladhara chakra to Vaikuntha through that particular channel called Brahma Nadi. It has to break Brahma Granthi between Mooladhara chakra and Sushumna Nadi and then get into inner side of Sushumna Nadi and ascend to the top of the brain and then be in tune with universal consciousness. And I think I have spoken quite a lot about it. Now with this, let us go little more descriptive aspects of Sushumna Nadi. Sushumna Nadi, as Satchakra Nirupana, talks about it. Let's not talk of the Sanskrit shloka, which has been given very clearly. Let's just translate that. It translates the central Sushumna Nadi has three gunas, mean three qualities, in the form of sun, moon and fire. We are going to see these things. Sun means Surya, moon means Chandran, and fire means Agni, which you can see in the top. This Nadi, Sushumna Nadi, is laden with Datura flowers made of copper, extend from center of Kan or Mooladhara chakra to the head. That means the shape resembles Datura flower, Sonali fascia. That flower. I think I have already spoken about it in earlier video. You're going to see the picture in this and you will definitely remember. This is a transliteration of statement or shloka from Satchakra Nirupana with respect to Kundalini as well as Sushumna Nadi. Now, let's review the same statement from Akhand Vidyashram with a little more scientific clarity. It can be translated as Sushumna Nadi means the vertebral column, central vertebral column, which is made of 30 vertebrae, and top of the head, which consists of 22 bones of the head and face. Out of 22 bones, 21 are fixed and 1 is free. As a result, it represents Brahma Ankh, which is head, and that is center of consciousness, first thing. Then the covering of the brain and the spinal cord is the second thing, which is called dura mater and pia mater. Then within this the dura mater and pia mater is subdural space, which contains cerebrospinal fluid, which contains all the essential needs of the brain. Within that, you have the white matter, which can be related to Surya Nadi, the grey matter, which can be related to Chandra Nadi, and then central canal, which can be related to Brahma Nadi. Now, beautiful description of Satchakra Nirupana in the light of modern human anatomy. You can see how beautiful is the description. Ancients used an animate format, and where I'm using mathematical, inanimate, symbolic representation. But both are so identical, I'm surprised. Thousands and thousands of years ago, without the knowledge of human anatomy, dissection, etc., how did they know? And that was so subtle, which most of people are not able to see, and they could experience and write it so beautifully. I am grateful to them, all the rishis, all the sages of ancient India, who have given me a foundation to look for much better knowledge than what is available in modern medical sciences itself. This has been the picture of an experience of mine when I have experienced ascension, awakening, as well as ascension of Kundalini through the three major nadis, which you can see, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. And you can also see the chakras, which I could experience beautifully and explain, and also Brahma Granthi, which was broken. And Mooladhara is right at the bottom. As I said, all these nadis, whether Ida, Pingala, or Sushumna, at bottom they are associated, are connected with Mooladhara chakra, which is called within the pelvic region, the perineal region. And it has to go up to the head, and this picture was very clear, and this is almost more than 30 years back experience, which I still remember very clearly. And now let's understand this with little more descriptive knowledge, which I have gained over a period. Now, internalization of soul consciousness, the picture which you can see down is same thing which I have designed for this particular Sushumna Nadi. The outer part, all those rays which are going outside, which work as a shield, and also externalization of consciousness, because Sushumna and out is externalized, you can see, but you can also see it has also got internalized. Triangles going in. When you internalize Sushumna, you come to the next one is Vahani Nadi, through which cerebrospinal fluid is flowing. Vahani means flowing. How this is the name they have kept it very clear. Sushumna means very subtle. Vahani is a fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid flows through this particular channel, and that can be equated with subdural space between dura matter and pia matter, in which CSF is moving throughout the body. As a result, it can act as a shield for the nervous system. At the same time, all the nutrition required for the nervous system is also provided by this. Very interesting. Then within Vahani Nadi is Surya Nadi. Surya means white, and that is represented here with 12 golden sun rays, which in chakras I have shown with Usha chakra as well as Anahata chakra. And how 10 plus 2 is 12, and there are also rays going out. When it is comparatively lighter and called Surya Nadi. Within that you have Chandra Nadi, which is like moon, which is grey in color. You can see, and that represents grey matter of the spinal cord, whereas Surya Nadi represents the white matter or ascending and descending tracts of the spinal cord. But interesting enough, right in the spinal cord, grey matter is inside. But in the brain, grey matter is outside and white matter is inside. So that's why I'm not talking about, so restricting Sushumna Nadi only to vertebral column and spinal cord. And then within the Chandra Nadi is Brahma Nadi, which is central canal within the spinal cord, which also has a cerebrospinal fluid, and that becomes an easy movement for Kundalini, the red color right inside, as shown as Antar Yoga, internalization soul, when it wakes up from Muladhara Chakra, can break Brahma Granthi, get into Brahma Nadi, and then move up to ventricles, which I relate as Vaikuntha, and that becomes the centralmost part, and from there it can integrate the entire nervous system, all the 100 trillion cells, and with perfect physical health and consciousness, we can be in tune with, and that is what I have shown. As a result of internalize the soul consciousness, Antar Yoga, I am able to produce 8 Hz frequency throughout the brain and be in tune with universal consciousness. Now you can see how things are really coming to center stage and say ancient Indian wisdom, beautifully described, modern medical science, very good, but when you bring both together, you have even better picture with the scientific evidence in the light of mathematics and neuroanatomy, which nobody can deny. And as a medical doctor, with experience, it was much easier for me, and I can understand the others have never been able to do because they're not medical practitioners. They are not been trained in anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology, the way I was trained. For me, now for the benefit of all the people who would like to resort to Kundalini Yoga and Akhand Yoga and make optimum use of human birth to be perfectly healthy emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, socially, religiously, otherwise. And for the benefit as well, I'm giving description, theoretical knowledge. Definitely this kind of knowledge is not available till date in any other forms. And this could be a good starting point for anyone who's heading for wishing to be a spiritual scientist in future and be in tune with universal consciousness for the betterment of humanity, personal and otherwise. And this knowledge can be very, very useful. Now, same picture, now you can see left side is the brain, then spinal cord, and you can see the vertebral column, and you can also see the spaces. So this picture is something which I have used it and I've shown it. This is how all these nadis are all about. But this picture also on the right side, I've shown skeleton. In the skeleton, I've shown the head. It's got 22 bones, out of which 21 are fixed. That's why I'm saying it has got Brahma Ank representation on the head itself, because the brain is a creative and Brahma is Lord of creation. It's an intellectual creation. Saraswati is with the head, whereas Brahma, the procreation, is with Swadhisthana Chakra. But number of bones in the skull as well as vertebral column have been shown, and also the kind of nerves you can see they also have relationship with the chakras and their petals. So this is again bringing it to it so that you can understand picture much more clearly, because audio visual imagery is always more powerful than visual or auditory alone. They should go hand in hand. And I'm sure people would understand and appreciate things much better. How wise for our ancients and how wise our modern science, how we can club together and we have a much better understanding of human anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and psychology. Let's go to the next step. Now, that picture was gross representation of brain and spinal cord. Now let's go to very detailed dissected portion of the spinal cord, both longitudinal section as well as cross section, to see these 5 things which I'm talking about within Sushumna Nadi, Vani Nadi, Surya Nadi, Chandra Nadi, and Brahma Nadi. So you can see here, the right side, you can have the brain stem, which from where the brain starts. But below that, you have the vertebral column, 30 vertebrae of the vertebral column are there. Then you can see it is covered by dura mater, the outer layer, then pia matter within that layer, and within that is you have subdural space. In picture also on the right side, you can see the sensory dorsal root ganglion, sensory nerve, and the spinal cord. That is longitudinal section. But down you can see gray matter is in the center, white matter is surrounding. You can see I've shown in the back side because it looks white, whereas that H-shaped picture in the middle is gray matter which contains neuron cells which are centralized, which can be related to Chandra Nadi, and white matter with Surya Nadi, and you have in the center the spinal central canal within spinal cord. You get marked on the right side, and that is what is Brahma Nadi, through which Kundalini should ascend to Vaikunt at the highest center within the physical body. So I'm sure now this picture is making it the gross picture to this, definitely showing very clear idea how beautiful was the ancient description and can be correlated with the modern human anatomy. Now there is something which I am very fond of. Yoga says that with the help of yogasana, pranayama, meditations, you can increase power of ojas. That means all those hormones which are responsible for making your physical health very powerful, which include reproductive hormones, which lead to something ojas, a perfect health. But these reproductive hormones from sacral plexus or Swadhisthana chakra should move into Vahani Nadi and then ascend through the Vahani Nadi and then create a shield around the body. And interesting enough, left side you can see brain, spinal cord. Look at the shape. And now look at the shape of the mace of Lord Hanuman. They look identical. That means brahmacharya or transmutation of ojas into tejas or testosterone in estradiol in the brain. If it can take place through Brahma Nadi, then you could have shape like weights. And it is also said Vahani Nadi is also known as Vajra Nadi. Vajra means like a diamond, hard, solid. And now you can understand why importance has been given to brahmacharya, so that all the testosterone or ojas has to be converted into ages for intellect, intuition, otherwise. To the brain, energy is for that. Physical, for health is ojas, testosterone, which takes care of the RBC production, muscles. But same testosterone when converted to estradiol becomes a material for intellect, intelligence, intuition, or higher contemplative power. That's one part. But as the picture in the right I've shown a Datura flower, which has been shown in Satchakra Nirupana as the shape of Sushumna Nadi, and how this also resembles the brain as well this one side. So that way I'm quite amazed how ancient Indian sages, for awareness of the common person who could not experience the shape of Ida, Pingla, Sushmana or Vani, Suryan, Chandra, Brahmanadi within, then for them picture of flower of the Tura was a good example, and you can see these two are more or less like that. How from down it goes up and then spreads, and then you can be in tune with it. Amazing knowledge, and I'm glad that my interest in ancient Indian wisdom of Veda, Upanishads, and other scriptures has helped me to understand modern human anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology much better, and then show the subtle, this is spiritual side of wisdom and matter or gross form of knowledge, both are two sides of the same consciousness, which put together we can say spiritual science can give us much better knowledge, and that is what Akhand Vidyashram through this walking talking encyclopedia is trying to attempt for the benefit of the entire world, so that we can have a perfect impeccable wisdom from school, college to the university throughout the world, so there is no confusion of any sort which we have as on today. So from that angle, I'm glad this particular video is also bringing something to the fore which is absolutely essential. Now the same picture you can see, let me not go much into detail because I already spoken and I will be speaking about this, but you can see the last picture. Here also you can see the like a datura flower from down, how it starts expanding. You can see the gray as the Ida Nadi, pink as the Pingla, and center is Sushumna Nadi, and within that you can see other nadis, and then going to the brain, and then you see right on top. And Atma, our soul, should rise through this Brahma Nadi to the Vaikuntha and be in tune with universal consciousness. And I'm glad I've really benefited. I'm sure everybody is benefiting from this knowledge, provided they really look at it with an open eye, then correlate, and then have a theoretical knowledge, then experiment with contemplative meditation of Akhand Yoga. You could also benefit as much as I have personally benefited. But this is the theoretical knowledge which will proceed to practical knowledge as we proceed thereafter. So that way, thank you very much. It has been really pleasurable journey for me to share all my experiences and leave it to people to enjoy. So thank you very